Been teaching a lot of headstands recently, and I wanted to share some of the things that I focus on when I'm coaching it. Basics, do a basic wrist warm up, shoulder warm up, hip warm up, and then they're all ready to go and they're warm because that's a warm up. Foundations of headstand are going to be the same as any sort of hand balance. Your alignment is really going to be super important so that you're stacking your joints, stacking the blocks in a way that makes you feel strong, you are strong, and it's working with your body's alignment. Hand placement and head pressure are also really, really important for a headstand. We're going to focus on a tripod headstand. So that's where your head is on the ground and your hands are in that triangle shape. So that 3-point of contact allows the 3-point of contact to distribute the weight. However, with the head pressure, think of only 20% of weight being in your head, and the other 80% is actually coming from that push through your hands and through into your shoulders. When people feel really heavy in a headstand, it puts strain on their neck, and there doesn't have to be that strain. You're pushing through the arms, and then that actually gives you more arm strength. You're working on building some arm strength even in a normal headstand, just to hold that position of a headstand. So remember that for any of your headstands, that the less pressure that you put on your head and neck, the better, and the more that you can push through your upper body to keep you almost thinking like floating off the ground. That's what you're looking for. So with that in place, let's feel the position out first. So when people are starting, when they're starting to go upside down, it's a little bit daunting. So if I can get someone to feel out a position without actually turning them upside down, then that's all the better. So if we lean on our sit bones, take our arms out, elbows onto the knees, and make the forearm vertical. This is basically our position. So if you close your eyes, pretend that you're upside down, that your head is distributing the weight between the hand, and the head, and that you're almost doing this. You're thinking of pushing the ground away, really engaging through the forearm and the shoulders, and as much as you don't move in that headstand, that's what you're constantly thinking about, is that pushing the ground away. So if I take this position and I place it into a headstand, it's just the same. Kinda. But you get the idea. You can play about with that without actually turning yourself upside down. Now, when you are ready to turn yourself upside down, grab a cushion, grab something nice for your head, because the ground's hard, the grass is hard. It's nice to have a little bit of cushioning, but it also helps you feel where it should be on your head. Now, it shouldn't be right at the front, it shouldn't be right at the top. Think of somewhere in the middle, and you'll have a sweet spot that works for you. So try and find that out. Now, before we go into the position, I want you to know a couple of things. Where my head and my hands are, so that's that triangle, my head goes down first, and then I arrange my hands so that that 3-point of contact, that 3-point balance, is in a triangle shape. When I've got the perfect alignment, you'll actually see that my forearms are vertical. Now, with vertical forearms, think of stacking blocks. So you say you've got Lego blocks and they're all stacked equally. That works so much better than if you've got a Lego block and there's one off to the side and then there's another one off to the other side. They're just not balanced, right? So the alignment and working with gravity, the more that you're aligned, the better, the stronger, the more connected and the tighter that you'll feel. And there's an old gymnastics saying that tighter is lighter. So as you are able to really squeeze your body together in good alignment, you'll feel and you will be so much stronger. So my head's going to go down first, and once my head is down, I find that position, and then I take my hands and I think of the triangle. Now from there, I want to just push the ground away, and you'll feel that you take some weight off your head. Once you've played about with that, wherever your feet are, just lift your knees off. But before you lift your knees off, push into the ground with your arms. Lift your knees off if you're comfortable with that. Take your hips higher. And you'll feel really quite heavy here. You'll have to push the ground away quite a lot. and you actually feel lighter once your feet are off the ground and in that headstand. So note that the first part of it will probably feel heavier than the actual headstand itself, but it's getting you used to really pushing through your arms. Now again, what you'll notice is if you're in the right position, my forearms are vertical, which means I can really push down and lift myself off. There's not an awful lot of weight going through my head. So getting in that position, we're going to move forwards, we're going to take the feet up. So go here as the head goes down, find your hand position, push into the ground as you lift your feet up, and then slowly start to creep your feet so that your knees go in the backs of your elbows. From that position, keep pushing into the ground, lift your feet up. You can do 1 foot at a time if you want to, be more comfortable. And then from there, push and lift. It doesn't need to be pretty at the moment as long as you've got your feet off. Pushing into the ground. My forearms are vertical, I'm in good alignment for gravity. I can pull my feet up. So there's my tripod headstand. So that's the basic headstand on itself. Like the fundamentals, the things you have to focus on are working with alignment, working with your own strength, working with gravity to make sure that when that weight's coming down, the thing that it's coming down to in a straight line is your vertical forearm. With a vertical forearm on this side and a vertical forearm on this side, and then the pinpoint of that triangle is your head. It means that you've got, say, 40% weight, 40% weight, and then there's just that 20% that's literally just creating that balance point. So alignment, head pressure, body placement, and hand placement. That's all the starting parts. To start lifting the legs off, you can go into that same position. Take your arms to here, lean back slightly, and then you're thinking when you're in your headstand to take your knees off your elbows. So start to, hey, and then come back. Now obviously it's going to be a lot more difficult because you're working against gravity. You're trying to take your legs off a solid surface here and work against gravity to lift them up to the sky. So as much as this might be difficult at the start, it'll be a lot more difficult when you're actually in your headstand position and you're trying to lift your knees and pull them up. But what I'm trying to get you to do is feel what's going on so that you can try and replicate that, so that when you actually come to do it, it's not so alien. You feel it really in your core, you'll feel it in your hips, you'll feel it in your quads, and you're trying to go right up towards the sky. Now, one thing I forgot to mention at the start that's really important. Why would I not mention it at the start? Because, silly me, I'm doing this in space, because if I was to do it against the wall, you wouldn't be able to see properly. When you're beginning headstand, have the wall here, so that when or if you wobble slightly and your back goes this way, you're not going to land on your neck in an awkward position. The wall's always going to be there. You can go as close to the wall as you want. It really doesn't matter, but the wall can be your spotter. And I highly, highly recommend that you do that, because when you're first learning any sort of upside down balance, your body gets a little bit confused. And if you've got just that safety net, you won't be as nervous to try and really feel what's going on, because it means that if something does go wrong, you're going to be okay. And trust me, I've done this when I was learning headstand. I've tweaked my neck a couple of times. It's really not, it's not nice, and it's not needed. You don't have to, and you probably shouldn't, because it's your neck. It's quite an important structure, so don't injure it. Use a wall. A good thing about headstand as well is, even though there's only 20% weight through your head, your neck will get really, really strong from doing this. Another way to strengthen up your neck is to ride a motorbike, because the wind pushes you so hard. But yeah, you'll get a strong neck from doing headstands, even though there's very little weight going through your head. Now, we're going to lift the feet off. So I'll go back to that position. You're going to pull your feet off your knees, and you're going to reach them up to the sky. Absolutely do this one against the wall, because if you wobble, you're fine. Head position, triangle with the hands, forearms are vertical, creep my feet up so that my knees go on my elbows, place the weight into my hands, so I'm pushing the ground away, taking my feet up, and now I'm going to have to push as much as I can through my arms, pull through my core as if I'm really opening up the same way as we did on the ground, lift those knees off, and you can start to extend up. There's your headstand position. Now, with my arms, I'm thinking of keeping them nice and tight towards my body. Don't allow them to fall out of place. So when your hands are down there and you're creating that push, think of the push going like this. It's like a jam jar, so if I do it this way, it'd be jam jar, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you're creating some torque through your arms, and that helps you really tighten up everything through this shelf of power that you've got to create that power. Here's my little helper coming. Very talkative little helper. Hiya. Hello. So we'll go through that again. Head triangle, push through the hands, bring the knees up, bring them up nice and slow. Now push through the arms so there's little weight on the head, lift through the core and extend yourself up. That's the position. Same if you want to come back down that same way. I'm pushing through my hands the whole time, creating that external rotation torque that goes all the way up into my shoulders, keeps my upper body nice and strong, and then I'm really just thinking of opening up through my core and extending my legs. So I'm thinking of really pushing my feet way up to the sky. If I'm controlling it on the way back down, I'm doing exactly the same. The push is coming through the arms. So if you can take anything away from that, it's make sure that you're in good alignment, that your body's working with alignment and gravity, so good body positioning, that you're not placing as much weight in the head as you possibly think you can. Do as little as possible, push through the arms, and 3 is push through the arms. I hope that's been informative. Have some headstand fun, tag me in your videos, and if I've missed anything or you want different tutorials on anything else, then just let me know. Have fun.